Man, would you look at that light?
Bro, light bro. Hey, light bro. We are in Genesee Valley Park for the second round of the Trek USCX series. It's Rochester Cyclocross. We're about to see the elite men's race. Bodie, what's the storyline here?
I think the main storyline here is because anybody stops Strohmeyer. I know Bruner would like another chance after Go Cross, and I know we have Clark and Werner waiting in the wings to try to improve on their podiums from last week.
All right, let's check out that action. Bro.
All right, we are at the starting grid of the men's elite race. We have 30 riders, and they are off from the grass, the gridding, right into this gravel start. It is fast, but it's a little dicey here because as soon as they get to the end of the starting stretch, they have a right-hand turn that has given every field in this race so far issues, but it looks like they get through there clean. We got a comp edge duo on the front of this one leading it out. That's Eric Bruner's team, but it is not Eric Bruner up front. He is farther down. It looks like Dylan Zakrychek and also Cody Scott with Andrew Strohmeyer in third place, Ben Frederick in fourth. We have Tyler Clark in fifth place there. We see Bruner coming up in about sixth or seventh on Kerry Werner's wheel as we make it to the back end through the jungle and over this lip, this rock lip. The whole field goes. They're going to make a right-hand turn, come through this high-low line, and then to the run-up for the first time. See Strohmeyer there, followed by Frederick and Clark, and there's Bruner a couple spaces farther down. Here we are on the run-up. See Bruner go through right there, right in front of Calvin Conaway. Tawfiq Bashir in the kind of the 10th to 15th position as we're on the bike path. This is a really, really fast power section coming into a headwind into that bike path in double trouble for the first time. Zakrychek leading the way, Cody Scott in second place, Strohmeyer in third. You saw Tyler Clark able to ride double trouble, one of the few riders not dismounting for the first half of double trouble. Here we are in the second half. This was just a choose your own adventure all day long. You see Strohmeyer taking the low line pretty nicely with Clark now on his wheel. Bruner electing to run up top with Tawfiq Bashir as well. And this race has gotten off really fast. It's like comp edge. I don't know. Team tactics. We talk about that in cyclocross, but they really had a plan with Scott and Zakrychek out early, out front, really pushing the pace. See Strohmeyer now moving into second wheel as we get to the steps at the end of the lap. So they're finishing lap one, coming around the bend here. Whole field taking the turn, a little look over the shoulder by Zakrychek, sort of checking out what damage he's done. And he has established a group of about 8 or 9 riders, three comp edge riders in the top 4 with Clark in 5th place, Kerry Werner in 6th, Jules Van Kempen in 7th, and that was Calvin Conaway in 8th place. And this peloton is staying together as they make their way up to this uphill U-turn that's going to take them underneath the road and over to the jungle section. Zakrychek still just pushing the pace. Strohmeyer more than happy just sort of to sit in and let him do the work. Bruner in 4th gives a little look behind to see what's going on behind him. You know, after not being able to clip in at the start, he's now right up there where he is comfortable in the front 5 of that race. And Bashir's got his work cut out for him. 6th place finishes last week, but a little farther behind in the opening laps. Strohmeyer still working that low line with Zakrychek on his wheel, but Bruner, really nice move, if you saw that, he was able to keep high, run that line, and work himself up from like 5th position up to 2nd. And here we go. This is not an unusual sight in the men's elite field. We got Strohmeyer and Brunner up front, with Comp Edge still controlling that front was the Krychek and Scott. They were kind of trading off positions up there. Here we see Bashir just trying all he can to get back onto terms with the front of this group. Coming through to the steps for lap 2. All of your players in here. Jules Van Kempen able to work his way into the back of that lead group. Calvin Conway riding the steps, trying to make his way into the lead group as well. Still early in this race, so no lap cards up yet, but look at that dust. Just crazy conditions coming around that finish. You know, you really want to be out front just so you're not eating all the dust. And Tyler Clark deciding it's his turn to go out front. He's got to solve Brunner and Strohmeyer. So he's got to throw everything at them to try to get away and have an opportunity to win this race as Tofik continues to battle to try to make it up to the front of it. And here is Eric Brunner. As we said, slow start for him, and it's sort of what he did last weekend as well. As soon as he's able to get back into that group, he's not waiting around. He's gonna start pushing the pace from the beginning as we are through the jungle and into this little high-low line and making the turn down to the run-up. Brunner smooth up the run-ups. Got Tyler Clark on his wheel. Kerry Werner there as well. Clark the only one shouldering the bike. Everybody else pushing as they come up through the run-up. Bashir and now making a move on Conway, looking to gain some positions as he finds his groove in here. Through the first half, again, Tyler Clark had to go foot down, but still able to really to ride double trouble. Brunner sticking to that high line. That's really worked for him. It's fast. Tyler Clark still riding. Strohmeyer also riding. Falling off the pace a little bit is Strohmeyer as the Krychek comes through. Cody Scott. Bashir making a nice pass. Again, you can see what he did for Cody Scott right there, making that ride decision. The running really seems faster on that second half of double trouble. Clark, Strohmeyer, Werner. Little look back from Zakrychek as he sees Tofik and Cody Scott on his wheel. So fast start for that duo for Comp Edge. Now falling a little back and really, having to work hard to chase back. But it's their teammate, Eric Brunner, who now has increased his lead, really gotten a gap of about 4 or 5 seconds over Strohmeyer and Clark and Werner. Those are names we're familiar with. Those were our leaders last weekend in Go Cross, and still doing the work at the front of the race this week as well. Brunner up the steps, starting to stretch out that lead. This half of the course, as you can see right there, is just made for Eric Brunner. He is such a powerhouse. If he's able just to get his head down, get into a big gear and push, he's trouble. And that's what the field is seeing now as he starts to gap off these chasers and just blow up. Look at the gaps that are in here. A lap ago we had a peloton that is now gone. Everybody is all over this course as Brunner continues just to charge, and Strohmeyer knows now this is danger times. Putting in a hard effort, he has to catch up. He has to get back Brunner. This race is going to be over early. Clark knows the same thing. He wants to be in there with the leaders. Here as we see Clark making his way through the half pipe. Kerry Werner not letting Clark go. He wants to keep him in view. And this is a good battle happening behind. We got Zakrychek, Bashir, and Scott. Bashir in that Comp Edge sandwich, looking for the positions a little farther down. Back to our leaders. Back to that pair we've seen before. Again, look at the decision making. We had Brunner up high, Strohmeyer down low. Those two are just testing out this course lap after lap. Same with Bashir, making the nice call, running high. here it is, Brunner, Strohmeyer together once again. They just passed pit to Clark, trying to all he can to catch back on there. Werner now in no man's land behind in 4th place, just doing what he can to not have the group behind catch up, but they are coming hard. This is Zakrajcek, Bashir, and Scott all looking to grab Werner and bring him back into that chase group. Up front, Brunner continuing to push the pace. Strohmeyer, had to put in a really big effort to bring him back after Brunner just went off the lap before, but those two now are together, which means that Clark is now in no man's land out there in 3rd place. And this chasing group of Zakrajcek, Bashir, and Scott have Kerry Werner in their sights, and they should be able to bring him back in with 5 laps to go. Brunner almost looking like he went into the pits there, but pulls it back out. That's like an old Sven Ness move, the fakie to the pits. Up and over the planks, Brunner, much like he's doing in Double Trouble, is running while Strohmeyer is riding, and Bashir now leading the way on pit 2 a little farther back, and they are bringing Kerry Werner back into this race. Catch up with them at Double Trouble. Oh, excuse me, at we're still right after the planks, and Bashir now leading that group as they head towards the U-turn. Back on the bike path, Strohmeyer taking the lead on the bike path, which is really a strength for Brunner, maybe trying to slow him down a little bit so he doesn't take off again in that section as they enter Double Trouble. Smoothly through there, coming back to this the second side of Double Trouble. This is where the line choices have been different every time. Here we have our chasers now. Kerry Werner in that group sitting 3rd. They had to reel him back in. He had 3rd place all wrapped up. Now it's a group of 4 looking for that final podium position. And Tawfik Bashir just putting in the work here, really just pushing the pace. Zakrajcek more than happy to sit on his wheel. Excuse me, that was Cody Scott out there on the wheel as Zakrajcek falls a little farther back. And up front, status quo. Little look back from Strohmeyer. Brunner throwing his gel into the pits, making sure he's following those littering rules in cyclocross as Clark comes through. And this is our chase group. This is just forming into a really nice battle for 4th place. Zakrajcek now back up front. Looked like he was dangling a little the lap before, but he's got his breath and is able to push on. Strohmeyer now making Brunner work. Just like we saw last week, it's all about attack and counterattack for these two. They know each other so well at this point. I mean, just racing all last season together, this season. They raced on the road on the same team, so there isn't anything about Eric Brunner or Andrew Strohmeyer that's going to be a surprise to the other one. Bashir and Werner now getting gapped off a little bit by the Comp Edge duo, who are trying to find Tyler Clark, who's right there. And Clark has been doing a good job just maintaining that gap and just slowly trying to bring that lead group back into view. With Brunner, I was going to say Brunner's attack, but there he goes again. I think Clark started to get a little closer. He saw them in his view, and he was like, oh, that seems like I'm getting close, and then boom, off they go, and you can almost see Clark's dejection there. He's like, well, I tried, but they're not even going to let me get back on this, and that seems to be the case. Now Strohmeyer putting in a really strong effort as well. Yeah, they had maybe a half a lap where it was a little bit of a détente. They were just kind of cruising, and no longer, as we see Strohmeyer putting in a really big move coming up to the technical sections of the course. If you break down these guys' strengths, there's a lot of long strengths on the bike path and the side with the steps that Brunner can just open up and go. And then when we're back here in the jungle section, in the half pipe, it's really technical, and it's the part of the course that Strohmeyer excels in. If he's so good at coming to a stop and then just accelerating out of it, and I think that Brunner needs a couple more rotations of the cranks to get going. This is the part that Brunner really excels at, so I think that Strohmeyer was, again, wanting to be out front on that bike path, first into double trouble. Here we see Tyler Clark now just racing his own race on his own, taking his time, not taking his time, but, you know, just trying to keep the leaders in view, but also make sure that this group behind doesn't catch them. And it looks like just how they're spread out a little bit on the bike path, that the ferocity that we saw in that chase group in the last couple laps has kind of gone away a little bit. And I think as we get to, you know, halfway and a little over halfway of this race, this 4 is now thinking about who's going to be fourth place. I think for a while there, they were trying to think they could catch Clark, think they could catch the leaders, but now this is really who's going to win this group. And you know, that's the thing about cyclocross. It's all about the battles all the way up and down the line, and that's the great one that's forming between that group of 4. Up front, little head bob by Strohmeyer. You know this hurts. You know both of them are hurting, but that's the whole point of it. It's like who can hurt the other guy that one last time, and that's going to be the difference in this race. Coming up to the steps to finish another lap between our leaders, Strohmeyer, Brunner, up the steps. They got 2 laps to go. So it is on from here through the dust, through the U-turn at pit 1. 2 laps to go. Strohmeyer leading the charge up and out of the saddle. This is just effort after effort for these 2 at the front of this race. In the chase now, Zakrajcek, Werner, Scott, and Bashir as they make the turn. And it's, again, that is such a great place to attack. It's really tight there. It's really slippery. And that's where you just got to get out of the saddle and go. Oh, little mistake on the half pipe. That was the part that Strohmeyer really thought he had the advantage of. So having to go foot down in the half pipe meant that Brunner didn't have to go deep that lap to keep on Strohmeyer's wheel as they make their way out of the jungle, out of the bike flights cobbled section onto the run-up. Strohmeyer leads Brunner. This is a lap and a half to go in this race. In this, you know, we didn't see Clark, but this is the battle we've been watching. Kerry is stuck in there all race. You know, you got Cody Scott now leading the way, Kerry Werner in second, Zakrajcek third, and Bashir fourth in this chase group, looking for fourth place. Catching back up with this same group. They are finishing up the lap. They're going to have 1 lap to go, and we skip ahead here. We see Strohmeyer head down, Brunner on his wheel. This is the final lap. They've been fighting all race long, and it's pretty much just throw away everything else that's happened in the race. This is it. They're just neck and neck as they come by pit 1. Strohmeyer going all in on that move. Tyler Clark had the best seat in the house to see the action out ahead, up and over the flyover. Strohmeyer still leading. He's been riding these planks the whole time. He's going to do that as well. Brunner has to dismount, which gives Strohmeyer a little bit of a micro advantage coming over there. He's able to stretch it out to about 6 or 7 bike lengths, but Brunner is not going to let that be the difference in this race. He's able to get right back on that wheel. Here we are around pit 1. Oh, nice little move there by Zakrajcek out front, hitting the brakes, having to get a little squirrely around the turn, but he's able to keep it upright. Cody Scott right on his wheel. Werner, as Bashir's whole pit crew screaming at him to get out of the saddle and bring him back. Lots of encouragement from that pit for all of the riders, but it is Zakrajcek and Scott with Werner right on the wheel as they come to this dusty off-camber turn around the tree, and boom, look at that, on the bike path. That was the place we were talking about where Brunner can excel, and he does exactly that. He accelerated right away from Andrew Strohmeyer, was able to get 6, 7, 8 bike lengths as they come around double trouble. Brunner shouldering the bike, knowing that this is the opportunity he's been looking for, and that you could almost see Strohmeyer's head just go down as they come out of double trouble. Brunner with the big lead. That was the move of the race, which was kind of interesting that Brunner was able to get the lead in the technical spots where Strohmeyer is usually so good, and use that bike path to his advantage to increase the lead, get a gap as they're coming home. Here we go. This is the race we've been watching for fourth place. As we skip back to Brunner, you can really see that gap. This is quarter of a lap left. They're just finishing, just going by pit 2. So really just Brunner can cruise in from here. That's exactly what he's going to do, taking the win. Second place is last week, improves to first place today. That's your elite men winner, Eric Brunner. Strohmeyer, a little disappointed, but still nothing wrong with second place. Finishing off the day for Andrew Strohmeyer. Tyler Clark, the forgotten man out there as we're watching the other battles, but another great effort by Clark to finish on the podium in third place. And here it is. Here is your sprint for fourth place. Cody Scott beating out Kerry Werner. Fantastic result for Scott. Werner finishing up in fifth place. Zakrajcek and Bashir right behind them. And that is your podium for your elite men, Rochester Cyclocross, day 1.
All right, Eric Brunner. First off, before we even get started, I'm looking at your ankle. Tell me what's going on here.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. I think I must have just hit it on my crank, or yeah, I didn't really feel it.
Last weekend, 2 second places. I'm sure there was some frustration there. Coming in today, same deal. You and Strohmeyer going at it. What's the different tactic? What did you change from last week going into this weekend?
Yeah, on one hand, I was a little frustrated not to win, but I feel like I gave it a good effort and didn't make any mistakes, really. Maybe if anything, I could have done a little more training in the heat, but of course I wanted to win. So yeah, I was motivated coming into this weekend.
Let's go just from the starts. This happened in Roanoke as well. Day 2, slow start, something that happened. We didn't see it at the beginning. Seemed like it was similar to today. Yeah, I actually had the thought that I got off the line really well today, but then I just missed the clip in, and so was a little back. After catching up with them again, cat and mouse game with you and Andrew, the book is you're better in the power sections, he's better in the technical sections. So how did you combat that to get this win? Yeah, and that was generally true today, or at least I find Strohmeyer hard to race against because he makes very, very few mistakes. So that's just one place that I can't really expect to get him. One place I felt like I was riding a little better was the little up after the underpass, but I also was in second there a lot, and I wasn't hopping the barriers. I just was I was doing it in pre-ride, but I was just kind of scared to do it at race pace. So he was consistently ahead there, and so yeah, we were just kind of trading off the lead on our relative strength sections. So a mistake by him last lap, is that what gave you the edge? I think so, but I didn't really see. So he tried to take the high line on the going into the run-up, which I hadn't really seen anybody do other than the first lap. And I just stuck with what I've been doing and came around. And I thought we were neck and neck, but maybe he tripped. I don't know. I came out of there, hit it, and all I knew was I had a gap. When you're making those, we're always like, well, maybe he heard something, maybe something, and the gap opens up. When do you realize that you have that gap? I just pedaled out of the downhill, gave it 10, 20 hard pedal strokes, and then I looked back and saw. Well, congratulations. This is, great win today, and it makes it great for us when we're watching these races, seeing you two just go at it day after day. Thanks. Yeah, that much sweeter to have a good battle with Stroh today, so looking forward to tomorrow.